the Seagull 1963 mechanical chronograph. If you found this video, you're probably already deep down the rabbit hole. You're simply not convinced yet. And to be honest with you, neither am I. Welcome to Timeheim, the home of... time. I invented time, yeah. The Seagull 963 is a Chinese-made mechanical column wheel chronograph that is well known amongst all terminally online watch enthusiasts, thanks to its vintage military charm and historical significance, but most importantly, its unbelievably low price. It was originally designed for the Chinese Air Force, so the Seagull 963 has rich heritage, at least compared to other Chinese watches. The only other Chinese watches that are widely respected in the community, even by snobs, would be the Sega Design Blue Planet, watches by Atelier Wen, and I'm sure there are some more. Point is, there are few Chinese watches that truly stand out, and aren't heavily inspired by the Swiss or Japanese, or German. I have a reissue of the Seagull 963 I bought on AliExpress for just above $100 if you convert the currency. Yeah. Other YouTubers talking about prices in the 300s are either overpaying or buying some fancy limited edition, which in my book is also overpaying, since the movement is the same and I don't think you'll notice any big quality improvements. We'll get back to that later on in the video. So what are we cooking with? I have a 38mm diameter version with sapphire crystal. It has a see-through caseback, which in my opinion is definitely how you should get this watch. What makes this watch so special is that it's astonishingly cheaper than the next cheapest Swiss or Japanese chronograph, thanks to its ST1901 movement. It's of course a movement manufactured in China, and it's based on the Swiss Venus 175, which was used in many chronographs over the 1940s and 50s. Eventually, Venus wanted to sell their outdated design and machinery, which was an opportunity that China took to create this bad boy. Seagull was founded in Tianjin in 1955, with the goal of creating the first watch manufactured in China. Then, in 1961, the Tianjin watch factory was assigned the task of developing the official aviation watch for pilots in the Chinese Air Force. In 1963, more than 30 prototypes were built, and the official version of the so-called Project D304 was finished. In 1974, the company started to export some watches, and for the global market, they chose the name Seagull. Finally, in 2007, the watch was reissued as a limited edition, and that's when other factories started to produce their own reissues, creating a very confusing space for buyers. In 2013, Seagull created their own official reissue, which made the question of what's an original Seagull 1963 even harder to answer. There are a ton of different versions produced by different manufacturers, just like there's a ton of people watching these videos but not subscribing, so do that. There's plenty of space here at Timeheim. Seagull has announced that they will start selling the ST1901 movements only if large orders are made, which might change the current landscape. It does have me a bit worried though, because all the versions sold by the official Seagull company are much more expensive. Watching the video from Jody at Just One More Watch, I stay with the belief that those aren't worth it. I will now abruptly postpone the rest of this conversation to actually talk about the watch itself. My version has a diameter of 38mm, a thickness of 14mm, and a rather long lug-to-lug of 47mm. Just as a reference, the Seiko SKX009 with a diameter of 42mm has a lug-to-lug of only 44mm. My wrists are almost 18cm or 7 inches in circumference, so unless yours are significantly larger, I think you should get this 38mm version. There are also 40 and 42mm versions, with the 40mm one looking exactly like the 38, just a bit bigger, but the 42mm version has differently shaped lugs, so keep that in mind if you're buying one. The stainless steel case is all polished. The sapphire crystal version has this ring around the edge of the crystal, which makes it look a bit thicker than the domed acrylic version. The acrylic is more true to the original with that vintage appeal, though it scratches more easily compared to sapphire. However, acrylic can be polished to remove minor scratches, maintaining its clarity. I chose the sapphire version because I already have a Vostok Komandirski with an acrylic crystal. If you don't, why not give it a try? I got the watch in this black box, which is standard for many Chinese watches, wrapped in a lot of plastic, and it also has some blue stickers on the crown and pushers. Depending on which manufacturer you go with, the packaging might be completely different. Sometimes it's a simple cardboard box, some others come in a metal tin. My watch came with a green NATO and a leather strap. It has a lug width of 18mm, so I put it on this AliExpress bracelet I had at home, and I think it's the perfect fit. A NATO strap adds too much thickness in my opinion, and I personally don't like the standard leather strap. I think a 2-piece nylon strap could also work really well. Now to the chronograph function. With the upper pusher you start it, you stop it, and then use the bottom pusher to reset it. If you press the bottom pusher while it's running, nothing happens, so don't worry. A weird thing I've noticed is that when I haven't used the chronograph function for a while, the upper pusher doesn't give me that mechanical feedback, so I have to press it twice. I guess that's an issue with my particular watch, but let me know if you experience the same thing. When you reset it, the chronograph hand goes back the shortest way. Here's a slow motion video. Because of that, some recommend that you reset the chronograph when it's in the upper half of the dial, to reduce the force and therefore reduce the risk that the seconds hand would jump out of place. Measuring the accuracy of the watch with an app on my phone, and also from personal experience with the watch, it seems to be running with an accuracy close to 0 seconds per day, which is incredible. I'm not sure how long it will stay that way, but it has been this accurate for the last 4 months. The movement has 21 jewels, beats at 21,600 beats per hour, and has a power reserve of around 45 hours. It has to be manually wound, so be careful when doing it, because if you try to wind it too much, you can break the mainspring, so don't do it in a rush, and wind it a bit every day until you feel some resistance. I can't speak too much about other models, only thing I can say is that the one I got was very affordable and has decent quality. If a price is too good to be true, like 20 to 50 US dollars, then it's probably a cheap quartz knockoff, so be careful when buying. Also, even if you buy from a reputable source, should the watch be defective, it's probably not that easy to get it shipped back and replaced. So only buy something you feel secure about, and please don't make me responsible for any problems. If you have a different version from the one I have, please leave a comment explaining where you got it and if you think it was worth the price you paid. So, what is my verdict? I really like this watch. I am a bit worried about the long-term reliability, or that the hands could fall off due to a shock or something. When it comes to servicing, you can forget that. It would cost so much more than a new watch, so it's not worth it. If that day comes, I will probably play around with the movement a bit, and after inevitably destroying it, I will keep it as decoration. By then, I will hopefully have a Breitling or another high-end chronograph to replace the Seagull. I don't wear the Seagull 1963 all that much, but when I do, there's always someone who will ask about it. They either know the watch and now you have a new watch collecting friend, or if they are skeptical and think it's weird to wear a Chinese watch, just show them the movement through the case back. For any questions, I will be happy to answer them, and even happier if you also subscribe to the channel. Thank you. Bye.